Hello, Core 3 Beauties. This is Marcos, and this is our week 8 going to week 9 recap briefing video for our design studio class at Parsons. So let's get right to it as you guys have got lots of work to do. Here is our calendar for the remaining semester as we go into our part 3 of our final project, our Design for Good project. We've had 2 good sessions so far where each of you have chosen a cause, a social issue to take on with your project. And we had a little over half of our concept presentations on Tuesday, a little bit unexpected. I should have probably known better. And we need to complete the rest of those on Tuesday. So as you'll see here, um, uh, instead of this Tuesday being it'll still be a virtual session, but instead of it being um, small group meetings where we share progress, we're going to just do the second half of the class, maybe 5 or 6 people, so a little less than half the class. And those who didn't present on on Thursday will get a chance to share their logo concepts. And in the meantime, though, I want everyone to be moving forward, whether you shared or not, on developing your uh, brand that you've created your strategy for and that you've created a name for, to begin creating concepts for logos. And that is our main assignment for this week. We're going to be presenting on Thursday of next week in class, of, and we'll do it quicker this time, but a full class presentation of everyone's logo concepts. And I'll go through what those are here a little bit, and I'll show an extra example that we didn't see in class to give you more context of how to approach this. So we're on our third week, week 9 of the semester. And as you can see, we're just, I don't know, a quarter of the way done. So there's lots of time still, but it's important that you continue to work to climb up the beauty rainbow, as we have here. Design student Sally is leaving brand name and she's hopping over to brand logo. Oh, that's a nice little move. Let's do that again. She's just, let's, don't be crazy. Don't do stunts like that, but get yourself over from brand name to brand logo and join Design Student Sally in developing your project, as that will be the main focus. And then we're going to add on with brand standards, colors, typography, and additional graphics as needed. So you want to start thinking about that now. If you're kind of moving quickly, that is the next step, is to kind of flesh out the identity further from just the logo. But for now, focus on the logo and focus on creating concepts that we can have a discussion about. And this is what we're going to be doing specifically. So I'll read this out loud. Once you've created your brand strategy, mapping out your brand concept, competitor partners, target audience, brand values, and if you didn't do those things, do those, fill in the gaps where you missed them, to make sure you have a full strategy so that you know what you're building your, not only your logo on, but your touch points and your design pieces, your core pieces, so that there's a foundation. You're designing strategically. You're not just making something for the sake of making it look cool, or it needs to be focused around a mission, an audience, and an approach, and a visual aesthetic. Make sure you have your inspiration, your visual aesthetic inspiration, that you have the components, and that can be flowing, particularly the components. Like, you don't need to lock it down right now, but as you go further, as we develop this, continue to think about how you want to communicate this, what the touch points should be, so that you ideally create as much of a full experience from digital to print in a 360 way, that tells your story and utilizes your visual design skills as much as possible and showcases them in this project. That's really the big goal, is to showcase your talents. So to design your brand identity, we'll start with creating logo concepts to consider as the main messaging tool. And remember now, a logo is only one component of a brand. It's not meant to do all the work. It's not supposed to do all the lifting and in communicating what a brand is about. And also, as I've told you earlier, remember that the name you've chosen does a lot of that already. That's already a first big step in what those words are, what they mean, how they sound. And it could be that your logo becomes something very simple. I'm not trying to pressure you guys into creating some extravagant logo that is got a lot of components and is visually complicated. It may just be about how you select your type, how you use colors. But basically, what you want to do is try to find that just one kind of like little twist, that one little surprise, the one little clever uh, idea that comes within that logo, but communicating the words clearly, communicating how you should say the logo, what it means, how you should express the brand. It may come in two parts. It might be in typography. It might be with a mark, with a logo mark. Those could work together. And the example I'm going to show here now is it's going to give you a secondary way of looking at this, which is more about creating a logo mark that's more visual and illustrative. So I want you guys to create 2 to 3 concepts, like a concept, a broad idea that you express in words, that you also support with visual research to showcase tactics and strategies of how you can make that concept come to life into a logo. Create a text page, create a mood board, and then create slight variations of each of your different concepts. So it should be 2 to 3 broad concepts with the strategy, the visual inspiration support, the text support, and then 2 or 3 ideas, and they can be variations that are quite subtle and just color changes or slight approaches, but don't just lock down on one idea. Try to express it in different ways that will give subtle options, and then do that a couple of times to 3 times. So let's look at some examples of that. So this is what I showed in class, and this is the broad review that shows just this component of the assignment. Remember, the strategy portion, the name portion that you've already done, that should continue to be part of your deck. I'm not showing that in this one. This should be the next chapter in that story, because what we're doing is we're building up our final presentations. And when we get to the end of the class and we're facing finals, it'll be a matter of you looking at what you've developed, streamlining it, shortening it, but you'll have all these pieces that you'll be working with. So continue to build onto the next step for this. You don't have to show everything in class, but you should review what you're doing when you talk about that. So let's look at this specifically. So well, let's look up here. So at the top here, you can see you've got the name of the brand, you've got the design personality, the design inspiration. That's a review of what their overall idea for the brand is going to be. And then the new part of this assignment that you're doing now is to create these various concepts. So this is concept one, and within this concept, this designer is creating a theme using words and wanting to position this idea, this direction, as having more of a trustworthy, intimate approach. And trustworthy, intimate as a strategy is coming from what they developed last week in terms of what their design personality is about, what the design strategy is trying to do. And it's taking one of the elements of that and focusing on it more. So outline what the components, what that means to be trustworthy and intimate, show how trustworthy and intimate is expressed in other design applications that you research and put together. And this is where you can come and see innovative ways of using typography, color, line form to create that little twist that we're looking for. And that's all we're looking for in these ideas. As you can see, her name is Soom, and it's a simple name. It's a elegant but new name that's kind of unique, but while not being hard to understand or hard to read. And focusing here purely on some color techniques and some typography choices that have a trustworthy, intimate look to it. And then working with the letters O to try to express something a little bit unique and different without doing too much. Again, the logo is gonna be part of a broader environment, of a broader story that you'll tell with your design pieces. So it's not going to be by itself like this. And then repeat 2 more times if ideally, or one more time, but approachable is the next one. There's a mood board for it. And then there's a way of taking the same basic idea, slightly different typeface, different colors, and different techniques within how to manipulate the O's or one of the O's to communicate a little bit further. And then again, same approach, different strategy, different aspect of what are the key messagings. And this one's more about being calm and soothing, showcasing what that looks like visually from research, and then executing that within a couple of variations. And then there you'll have it, a simple but thought through and strategic way of communicating logo ideas that we can then discuss on Thursday and try to zero in on. And of course, don't forget that ever important thank you page. And I have to say, you guys have been really excellent with your thank you pages. I checked in with the A making machine. She's very happy with the thank you pages. She's building those beautiful golden A's for each of you. But don't screw up. It's not too late to screw up. Make sure you continue to do that. Continue to be grateful. Continue to follow the assignments and continue to put in your best. Okay, let's look at a version here of another student from last year who also did this assignment. This assignment, I'm showcasing this because it's a little bit different in its approach for the design. It isn't so much about being minimal, it's much more about being pictorial and about showcasing a logo mark versus a word mark. And it's also kind of disobeying a little bit the assignment that I said in terms of like the components and how I wanted you to structure that. And I'm showcasing it not to say that that's okay to do. I and the A making machine would prefer that you follow my instructions and do put in the various strategy page, the inspiration page. But they're doing the things here basically. So remember, you're only supposed to put up the sign that says wash your hands before going back to work. You don't have to actually wash your hands. So this person didn't wash her hands, but she did come up with great ideas here. So the A making machine over will see past that. But in the back of her mind, she will kind of know that this student didn't listen to the assignment, and that may affect the progress of her golden A being made by the A making machine in the future. So I would recommend you follow the steps, but let's see what she did. So her theme or her issue or cause was to look at the folklore festivals in China and how they're celebrated here in the US and try to revitalize those cultural traditions and to promote them here and bring more of an awareness both into the Chinese community here as well as outside other communities within the city or within cities across the country. And so her name, it's kind of a combination of a number and words, and that means something. And it's going to require understanding Mandarin or being able to say it. I'm going to botch it up here, so apologies in advance. But the brand name is basically a word based on the numbers 888, which kind of sound like I understand ba 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 when said in Mandarin, and it's inspired by the Chinese number eight. It symbolizes prosperity. The number eight is about good fortune. And then 888 aligns with the purpose of many Chinese festivals, which offer to aim to bring good luck and blessings. 888 sounds like fa fa fa, which means to get rich or to prosper. So it's got an interesting kind of twist meaning to it. And Chinese festivals are more about bringing good luck and blessings. And this name reflects that idea. And the name is simple, memorable, and culturally relevant, reflecting the brand's mission to promote the traditional festivals. So it's an excellent name. And as I was telling you earlier, a big principle that I believe in is that good design will come out of your mouth. And to be able to have a name that's three numbers in a row that have various aspects of meaning within Chinese culture and also visually look good and are unique. You've already more than halfway there with this without even doing a single stroke of designing. So brand strategy, she wants to do a publication. She wants to do a calendar and a digital version of it. That's all in the future. So we're here more to focus on how she's going to approach her logo, her target audience, people of all ages who want to learn about the Chinese culture. Color combinations, I don't know why that's in there. It's a little bit off, but okay. And here's her overall mood board about her brand and bringing in obviously visuals within Chinese cultures and festivals. Now here's here's our logo sketches, and you can see we're not seeing a logo concept one, and we're not seeing the things that you're supposed to do. So don't be distracted by that. I mean, if you end up doing something like this, the A making machine will turn away and not see that, but it might not stick for long. So please follow the directions. But here she just basically is, she dove right in, no inspiration, no strategy, no concept outline, the number eight, and begins to take advantage of that figure eight and then build upon it illustratively with the visual of a dragon. And then bringing together three eights to make an even more realistic dragon, yet losing the number 8 becomes an issue. So just exploring how to connect that a little bit more so that it stays 3/8 while still being a dragon, as opposed to trying too hard to be a dragon and losing the 8/8. And then maybe looking at it more abstractly and away from being so literal. Just kind of a sort of a side idea where she's using negative space to incorporate 2 dots that represent dragon pearls. And apparently this alludes to the phrase two dragons playing with the pearl. Um, so this is a good thing here, having an overview page for all your ideas at the end. I recommend everybody do that so that when we're discussing it um, together, we can see it all together. And this is always really important when ending a meeting to have this kind of overview page so that you don't have to keep clicking around. So include that in yours for sure. But of course, end it with a beautiful thank you page like we see here. Okay, so that's another example. And again, I prefer, actually kind of demand that you follow my directions in terms of creating 3 concepts, creating a written overview of what that concept means and visual inspiration for how you're going to create your design direction, and then showcase 2 different directions and then repeat that 2 more times like you're seeing here. It's all up on Canvas in terms of just a quick brief of what it is with an example image like you see there. And I also created our Google uh, page that our Google Docs page, that our Google Drive page that has a new Part 3 logo design. And man, this page is getting full. You guys have been doing a lot of work, and it's just getting filled with stuff. But remember, make sure that each of you are keeping track of this and you're putting your assignments into the Google Drive. Hopefully you're not putting it just onto the Canvas. You can put it there if you want, but I don't look there. I look here at Google Drive. And the A-making machine, most importantly, looks at the Google Drive, and we'll be looking at it at the end of the semester to make sure everyone has submitted their assignments. Otherwise, points might be falling off and the shine of your golden A might be getting duller. So make sure that doesn't happen. Keep posting in here and be ready for your review on Thursday for this class. Remember, Tuesday we're meeting virtually to review those who didn't get their logo concepts reviewed on our last Thursday class. And then I'll give time at the end of those presentations, if there is time for anyone who wants to check in with me. There might not be time. But again, Tuesday, we're meeting on Zoom. I'll send the link, and full class starting at 7. And the 5 or 6 people who didn't present their logo, their brand strategy and brand name concepts will be presenting. We also have actually one more digital forms project that hadn't been presented yet because the student was sick. And we'll be looking at that as well. So we will have a full class online. So make sure you get yourself in a space you can be for several hours, bring yourself some treats, and continue to work on this. This is a key time now. You're laying the foundation for your project. This is no time to take it easy. Make sure you're making time to suffer. It's important to suffer. Don't avoid it, because suffer, it leads to joy. And I want each of you guys to make sure you put your full into this so that you can have a result that you're going to be proud of. This is a rare opportunity for you. You only get to be a junior in design school in New York City and be young and beautiful for so long. And I want you to take advantage of this assignment to make sure that it reflects your best work possible. I want to make sure you're collaborating with your classmates and collaborating, more importantly, with me to be able to get the best out of this. So reach out to me if you need, ask me questions, send me an email. I'm even up for a quick Zoom meeting if you need it. So just know that that's your preference. Take charge of what you're doing and make sure you make it as good as you can. If you think you might be done with it, take the extra time and say, let me spend 10 more minutes with this. Question yourself, be hard on yourself, have standards, be judgy, do all those things you've been told not to do them, and make sure you do them well so that you create something incredibly good, because I know you guys are up to it. You've already done great work so far, and I want you to continue that, but I want you to get better. No resting on our laurels. Make sure you come with your full self and go beyond what you expect. All right, well, so get back to work, and we will see you guys on Tuesday night on Zoom.